Hello, everybody, and welcome to my vlog. I appreciate you coming through. For those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Josephine. I'm from Kenya. I'm sorry, I'm just going to check that everything is set well so that I don't make a mess when I'm going on, so that I know when it's streaming live and when there's an error. I live in Kenya, and I'm going to be the biggest thing that I'm celebrating right now is that I'm going to be turning 60 next month. I'm a Pisces baby, yeah, born of the fish. So, welcome to my channel. I thank you very much. Thank you to all of you, my subscribers. Thank you to all of you, my viewers, who've been coming back to my channel over and over again for so long, and who've gotten me to 38,000 views. I must celebrate that. People who are not YouTubers will normally wonder, what is this you're talking about, having so many viewers and we can see your subscriptions are so low. But for us who are YouTubers and who are aspiring to get to monetize, even if you've been monetized, the most encouraging thing for somebody who's a serious YouTuber is always how many views you're getting. The views matter a lot because that indicates that there are so many people watching you, and sometimes it's not even the money. It's also about the self-satisfaction, knowing that there are people who are caring enough to want to watch your content and that it matters to them. I think the lighting here isn't so good. Let me just up it a bit. Just a minute. 1 minute. Oh. Yep, that's better. Yeah. So we get very encouraged when we see the views that we have from different people from all over the world. And because the YouTube analytics gives you so much of a rundown of what's happening in your channel, what's happening with the people who are following you, where they are from, what different details about them. So, for example, I can tell that in the past few weeks, youngsters, well, I call them youngsters because they're children, people between the age of 18 and 35 haven't been watching my channel a lot. It's an older lot, but sometimes I have videos that I'm producing, and the majority of people who are watching are in the younger age brackets between 18 and 45 or 35, thereabouts. So there's always enough of a gauge to direct you to know what kind of the kind of material by way of vlogs, videos you're producing, who really is consuming them, and then how you want that to go on. Welcome, viewer. How you want that to go on? How you want it to be? Do you want to continue to have the age gaps, the age groups that are viewing you, to be your prime target, or do you want something different? For me, I appreciate if it's the youngsters who are watching me, fine. If it's the older people, fine. I don't think I have a preference of who should be watching my videos because I produce for different age groups. Sometimes I'm giving advice, and advice could go either way. It could be for somebody who's older and who might have missed up on whatever it is I'm advising about or talking about, or it could be somebody who's younger and they want to get it from somebody who's gone through the experience and then learn what it is that you're offering. So I'm pleased for that. I'm so happy that I did the painting of the wall. The side of the wall where I am is the side I didn't paint. And one of the prompts that YouTube Studio gave me today is to talk about what motivated me to do the last DIY project I did. What motivated me is one of the things that I've promised myself this year is not to procrastinate, is not to keep away things, to delay things that are supposed to have gotten done. So if I'm supposed to do something, I give myself I'm giving myself time periods. So every quarter I have a few things that I need to have done. By the end of that quarter, I'll try my best, the best I possibly can, to be able to accomplish that goal. And so one of the things that I've been wanting to do for very long has been painting the house. And I'm also very determined to ensure that I'm not getting 100 percent support from my children and making it almost like a burden for them with what they have to do. And it feels so nice for me. I don't know about you, but I like surprising people, pleasant surprises. And I just thought, how nice will it be for them if they come home and find the house is painted? And that's just from money that I had earned, and do a few changes around the house. Everybody likes a house that has minimal improvements. And after I always speak about improving your home in whatever step, no matter how little, whether it's buying a new plate or buying a set of spoons or revamping the furniture, no matter how big or how small, if you make a change in the house, a positive change, it always helps everybody feel better. It starts with you yourself. You feel better for it because everybody likes being told, what you did was a good thing. And at the same time, even those who are not able to do anything, but they're in the house and they like what they're seeing, they'll be happy about it. And that should be satisfaction enough for you, even if they do not show the gratitude, just knowing that they appreciate it. And it has helped around the house very much. That's good enough. Now, I'm currently staying with my sister's son. He's a toddler. And it's so strange that for very many months, for a great section of the last half of last year, I was very lonely. Welcome to the vlog. I was very lonely, and I was lonely for a mate, a partner, an adult partner. And then that wasn't going very well because of so many hassles with dating apps, because that's the only place I was looking. I mean, I don't go out much enough to look for a partner in social places. I kind of keep it to myself. I kind of stay just within the locality. And we women, sometimes we have a notion of where we think we ought to find the person that is going to come into our lives. And so I've kind of cancelled in my head that I don't think I'd meet somebody in my hood. So that's why I'm saying that I keep to my locality. Like, there wouldn't be somebody who qualified to come to my life. But in the traditional sense of what I know about dating, is that normally I'd be more capable of finding somebody out there, a bit further out. And so I went really out and I went on dating sites, and that did not work well at all. I did meet some wonderful people who were not compatible, I was not compatible with. I did meet some real losers. I did meet some mean, selfish people. I did meet some abusive people. I did meet some people who you just can't figure out. They have their own problems. And I keep on saying that the kind of men that I'm looking to date are 55, 56 and over. Going to 65, let's say, should be the oldest. I've spoken to, well, there was somebody who was 70 something, but total nutcracker, who are not suitable on many levels. But these are men who've lived their lives, and they have their issues, that they are very well set in their ways. And that didn't work very well for me. And so I started thinking that it would be so much better if I just got somebody, a youthful person, to come and stay with me. I think it's just the motherly instinct. And in a kind of bizarre way, when I'm looking for a partner, I was also almost seeking for, though it was for somebody in a romantic sense of the word, as a partner. I think in at the back of my mind, and which I think is very common among some women, not all women, but we have a big group of women that have so much empathy in them that even when you're seeking for a partner, you don't mind somebody who kind of is below par to what you really do deserve, because you're willing to go and mother that person. And I think I'm one of those women. I used to be. I'm not. I can confidently say I'm no longer that, but I used to be, and I can credit the internet a lot for having opened my eyes to make me realize mistakes that I've been making, to make me realize where I've been selling myself short, to make me realize how much compromising I've been willing to make or I have done in the past, which was not necessary. Because now more and more social media is becoming a learning welcome, is becoming a learning and teaching platform. And then it has, I can say social media has quick short classes. So they compact a lot of information in very, very effective and beautiful ways, and give you a whole education in just a few lines on audiovisual entertainment. And so I think that has helped me very much. And then I just got busy. I just got busy with a lot of stuff for family. And I think sometimes also the loneliness is when there's not so much to do. I mean, I'm comfortable. Um, I'm not too stressed out financially. I wasn't, I guess I had jobs. I was working. I'd get called out to work once in a while. And I have my home. It's comfortable. I mean, it's not grand, but it's comfortable. And so there was just a gap. I just needed, and I'm that kind of person who always wants a challenge going on in my life. It doesn't matter what sort of challenge it is, but I want something challenging my mind, challenging my senses, challenging my thinking. I want to be on the move. And so I was seated comfortably. And I'm not happy seated comfortably because I feel like I have food. Then the food lacks any taste because I'm wishing I had someone to share it with. I mean, in a weird sense, it would even be better if I had to struggle a bit to get the food. I have, yes, I'm a vlogger, and I have Wi-Fi on, but sometimes I'd be like, besides the vlogging, how nice would it be if I had somebody else coming here to come and also use it? I mean, and utilize it, and not just me. I don't know what is. I think to some people, my thinking is so weird, and well, to some, it's downright, let me not say the word, but it's just downright crazy. But that's how I'm made. I prefer. What have I? What have I touched? Uh, oh, I'm on. Okay, sorry about that. Something came on my screen, and I thought that I'd logged out. Sorry about that. Yeah, to some people that looks just crazy, but that's how my mind is. And I've come to realize that we are different in so many ways. It's the same way that people think that people who have a hearing challenge, or people who are able differently and keep on making sounds, that it's because they don't hear. In my opinion, people who have hearing challenges, it's not that they don't hear, but they hear different. They hear different, and the different they hear is all that they hear. And that's what they react to. And what makes me say this is because a few years back, I can say it's less than 10 years, but it could be about 10 years back. But there was a time that I had a very, very bad flu that totally had me blocked. My the whole of my ENT area was blocked. My ears were completely blocked. My my nose was stuffy all the time. But the thing I cannot forget, I think there's a time I did document that, but by then I used to blog. I used to do a lot of writing. And I'm going to try and pull out the article that I did about that. But the strangest thing was that I could not hear in the sense we know of hearing. Like I could not hear the things that happen in the outside world, clapping, the walking of feet, the thunder, dragging a chair across the room, the ordinary sense of hearing, as in hearing outside my ear, I could not hear. But I could hear everything that was happening inside my body. And that shook me. And that made me think maybe this is what people who are hard of hearing or differently challenged as we think from outside, this is what they hear. Because I could notice the sounds I was hearing because I've been educated about them. Well, now science through technology is making us know some sounds, but there are some sounds I've never even heard in any explanation on audio or visual, whether it's AI manufactured or anything. For example, I could hear my heartbeat, yes. I could hear the blood pumping in my veins, and I could hear the blood moving at different levels within my body. There was the blood that was moving according to the pumping of my heart. Then there was a faster zip zip that was I knew that it's because I've been educated that way, to sense that this wouldn't be anything else but that. Of course, all the sounds in my stomach, I could hear them, my stomach rumbling whenever it rumbled. But for me, one of the craziest things that I remember I could hear was I don't know whether it is the smallest arteries or, well, I'm not very good in biology, but there are certain blood vessels in the body that pump blood at a very high rate, and they just go, "Tss," and I could, and everything was coordinated. It was, as you'd say, with clockwork precision, so that I could tell that it's the bigger sound feeds onto the slower sound, then the fastest pumps into the bit faster. Then how does it go? The fastest pumps into a bit slower one, then the a bit slower one, coming down to the last level, which is the heart level, which is now the ones that you just hear whoosh kind of sound. And I was like, good heavens, we are walking machines. As in, it's only what am I keeping on touching here? Oh, okay. I think it's my hand on the keyboard. And so I was like, wow, this is so fascinating. And it got me thinking that, yeah, maybe while we are so busy saying that there are people who are hard of hearing, they do hear, but they hear differently. And so when you see some of the people whom we consider to be hard of hearing and mentally challenged behaving in certain patterned movements, it is a reaction to what they are hearing inside of them, because you'll find that somebody maybe has a twitch at a certain interval of time or a certain reaction in the body. It is one, from the hearing of what they're hearing inside, and then two, what they're feeling. Sometimes there's also something, either a vein or a muscle, that is wrongly pulled and that is working in coordination with the rest of the body too, because there's clockwork precision in our bodies. One thing I know about for sure is that heaven's first law is order. And if we are creations of God, there's a systemic order by which our bodily functions are coordinated, muscle to blood vessels to bone structure to tendons to everything. And so for me, these are things that I notice, which I don't know if anybody else notices. Another time I remember I got sick. And I had a nasal should I call it inflation or not inflation, but infection. but I was picking my nose a lot. And I was picking one side of my nose. And can I tell you that you don't know where danger comes from? You don't know where danger comes from. And that's when I told myself that yes, nose picking can lead to instability of not just the brain, but yeah, total instability of um your many senses in your body. Because what happened is that I noticed that I would be walking and I would be veering to one side. And then I thought, is am I seeing different or is this happening? And it's true. There must be something I was touching, but I'd be walking and I'd be veering towards one side. And I when I noticed that, I was walking on a long stretch of the road, and I immediately remembered there's something that I've been doing which has been feeling uncomfortable, and I've been telling myself maybe this is going to affect something. And actually, immediately I stopped that. Within a few days, that veering, my stability was I would be tilting a bit to one side, and I would actually feel my brain was like tilting but driving my body to walk on one side, to veer to one side, so that I'd keep on having to turn my body so that I could walk straight because I'd be veering off. So some of these things, it's because we don't notice enough. You might find that sometimes people get some of these sicknesses. It's something from something as small as that. You're either picking your ear too often, picking your teeth too often. Of course, we know that brings its own dangers. But me, I did notice that. I know it's something horrible to talk about. It's very uncomfortable for many people to discuss, but it is a fact because it happens to all of us. And it's because I just had that irritation, like there was something up my nose. And you do these things in hiding. And which other time except at night? Because in public, I wouldn't do that in public. I wouldn't do that in the daytime. But at night, I'd be fidgeting and fidgeting and fidgeting. And the end of it was when that happened, and I was like, Josephine, this has to stop. And so I realized that that's a very big danger that people might not be aware of, and which you should be very careful about also with children, and stop them from doing that. And that's one of the reasons why I do not like it when I find people who have, I don't know whether it happens in other parts of the world, but I know specifically in Kenya, and I don't know whether it's also in the rest of Africa. There are people who don't keep nails, but they keep this last nail or this one. And the most disgusting thing is that those nails are kept long specifically for picking the nose. And yeah, there are things that I might look aside about uh, in people I befriend or people I hang around with. But when it comes to that, no, I just find that so off-putting, so off-putting. And I think now that I know that that happened to me, although it was for a short period, I do know that some of these people might be endangering their lives so much. I mean, let me just seize that topic there. So I'm so proud of myself that I did the house painting. I'll be doing the rest of the section later. There are so many big things that I need to do this year. And I'm really praying to God that they're going to bypass because, like I say, some of the challenges that will be holding me back, that have been holding me back, correction, not that will be holding me back. Because I'm very determined, nothing is going to hold me back from anything that I've put down that I must do. It's just going to be the usual, if it's issues of family, there's always that foreboding you have of it might come out nasty. It might bring some nastiness in the discussion of what you want to present forward to the people who are concerned. I'm very grateful that I don't have any big issues to sort with friends, and I'm very glad for that. And I think that is because a few years back, periodically, but starting a few years back, I made a very conscious decision that I'll keep as friends people who can in many ways reciprocate my affection and my attention. And it's not to say that I'm going to castigate friends or keep away from friends, but limit my interaction without and limiting your interaction does not in any way mean that you're stopping your friendship or you're reducing the impact of the friendship, but you're just relieving yourself from having to feel guilty that you're not stepping forward to be as active in physical meetings and interactions as much as before. For many years, as I was growing up and into maturity, I was the kind of person who I don't want to stay too long without physically meeting up with friends, hanging out with them, knowing what's happening with them. And for me, that was the bond creation. If we were, I was expending myself so hard, I was sacrificing so much to make sure that I was in their presence, that we were together, that I was in touch on a almost daily, weekly, monthly basis with their lives to know what's happening. But I think as we grow older, and for me, because I take family business so seriously, I sat down and thought the amount of effort I was putting, I could no longer afford it. In various ways, I could not afford the time. I could not afford financially. Also, I did not have the capacity. And then with a growing family that had such different needs of me, I was not able to continue with that. And then I had my personal things that needed doing, and that demanded attention also. And when I say personal, it is personal on many fronts, because one of the things, first of all, that I did not so many years ago was make a conscious decision to join church. I really didn't grow up being a very staunch Catholic or involving myself very much in church. Yes, I did go to church. Yes, I did introduce the children to church, but I wasn't. I've always been very prayerful, but I was not very much involved with church. But as like coming to Ruai in particular, I can say not just age, but also coming to live here in Ruai was the biggest impact that drove my I can't call it an ambition, but my will and my desire to get more involved in church. The atmosphere, the what the place Ruai, the people in Ruai, the everything about Ruai, there's a specialness about Ruai that makes it, not only was it for me, but even now still does for many people, that when you come here, it allows such a kind of peace, a kind of settlement, a kind of contentment, a kind of down to earthedness that allows you to be able to balance between the normal joys of life and the normal work schedule, and then involving yourself very much with community on a spiritual level. And I'm very grateful for that. I'm very thankful for that. And I'm thankful that I also happened to come to Ruai at the age at which I did in my mid 50s. I think probably if it was earlier, I can't just say it was just the place itself. I think it was also the time in my life when I needed this to happen, coincided with the time when I came to Ruai. And so I'm very glad for that. And I can say that I have fewer close friends now. The most unique group of friends I have, I can say, are my high school schoolmates, secondary and high school schoolmates, because those are people that you stayed so many years together with, and we've walked a journey together. We are now clocking what, 30 years? Yeah, 30 years. And the alumni of girls that I went to school with, I can say those are the people that I have the strongest bond with. And then I have one or two people in my work life whom we've stayed close for very many years. And these are people that now I met into my adulthood and whom we underwent different challenges with. And we bonded on a stronger level as women, as young women, not as girls. I mean, the high school friends, we started out as kids, really, because in Form 1, what are you? You're 14, 15 years. You're just wet behind the ears. You're little babies. But we walk the path together. We've come into womanhood together. We've had our families grow as our friendships have continued. Some of them, you missed being in communication for over 10, 20 years. But when you get back together again, even if it's not physically, it's like you never left because there's so much shared memories from the school days and the earlier years before people now got busy with families. And that's a special kind of friendship. People that I met in my working life, we also have a different but special bond because in our mature years, we spoke right from the start. We met and befriended one another and interacted, um, and we know one another's families very well because everything was a balance between work and family at every point of our friendship. And so it stays that way to this date. And I think I can say the same with some of the old school friends also, whom I've been in touch with for very many years into early marriage days and the starting of family. And even if there were breaks of communication in between, the bond cuts different. It's a tighter cloth. It's a the cloth is woven a bit tighter than with friends whom there was a bigger gap in the starting of families where the friendship wasn't as tight. But in all things, I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful and I'm appreciative of that. And I know that at a younger age, not now, at a younger age, there was a time when I'd compare so much. I'd compare where I was in life in comparison with my friends. Sometimes, I'd feel like, yeah, I'd missed the bus. Missing the bus is a common Kenyan phrase for when you didn't make it as well compared to others. And yes, there was a time I felt that, but as I grew older, I looked back into what it is that I had done in my youth and in my earlier adult years. What was I doing when I feel that others were developing? And I realized that I had nothing to regret about with the amount of money that I was earning and with the level of responsibility I had of a family. I was very tight with my late mother, rest her soul in peace. And I can say that at a time when I could have been doing so much more significantly, I can say, to better myself, to improve myself financially, that is, in making investment, in having fun and all that. I instead channeled my efforts in ensuring that, because my mother put in me the notion that as time passes, everything gets more impossible. And so she was always, one thing that she instilled in me was you'd rather sacrifice time while you're young, time and money, and invest in long term, invest in long term goal plan investment. Okay, investing. Do you use investment two times in a sentence? Yeah, but you'd rather concentrate on long term investments. And no, I trusted my mother with all my heart. Like a little baby follows blindly. So she'd tell me this is what we need to do first. And I'd be like, fine by me. I'm going to help. I'll just send you the money you do. My mom was the brains. Me, I was the hands. I was the brawn. I had the energy and I had good work opportunities and good money. I was, at one point, I was making money, which I know my mom, rest her soul in peace, as a civil servant was not able to make. And for me, that was money that was just coming like this, like that. And so I totally trusted and trusted in her. And she made investments both for herself and for me. And these are investments that paid off, are paying off, and will continue to pay off to generations that are coming. And I don't have, if I start talking about my mom, I don't know where I'd reach, because I wouldn't, I'd probably out talk this live stream, and then another one, and probably a live stream, the daily live stream of this month. But what I can say is that my mother was a very powerful being as a person. Right from childhood, she was very outstanding, and she was very harsh. Yeah, I think in a way I take after her. Yeah, I wasn't like that. She put the confidence in me. She put a lot of wisdom in me. I didn't have it when I was younger. Don't fool yourself. Those of you who are meeting me here, do not think that I was a very nice, bright little child. No, 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 no. I had, I know there are the adults around me in the family, they can tell a story or two about things that I've stressed them about, but it's all very well. I think it's a very sorry affair if you're an adult. You get to about 30 years, 30 is even going too far. You get to 25 years and you've never given anybody a sleepless night as a child, or as a teenager, or as a young adult. It will be very painful, because you're going to disturb people in your 30s and 40s and 50s. But me, I did my shenanigans at the right time, as a child, as a teenager, and as a young woman. Oh yeah, when I say I've been there, done that, I've done a lot. I've done a lot that would make people just shake their heads and go, "Oh gosh." Yeah, but mistakes are good, because mistakes make us learn, and experience is the best teacher. No matter what anybody tells you, experience is the best teacher. So yeah, my mom was always there to guide me, and we were very close. Uh, she had me when she was quite young, and so she was like a sister to me. And then, of course, she was my mother, and she was my mentor, and she was my advisor, and she was my shoulder to lean on. She played a very crucial role in helping me decide to how to go about with the relationship between myself and the father of my children. And that's something that, for the sake of his family, and for the sake of the children, I wouldn't expound on. But things didn't turn out well. And if it wasn't because of the support of my late mother, I might have not been the person that I am today. I might not have had a lot of happiness in my life. And I'm grateful for that, because sometimes as a woman, you need a stronger woman behind you to help you know that the decision you're making might be hurtful for that period, for that time, but you always have to look at years ahead. You have to look at the future of not only yourself, but um, your offspring, if you have children, your personal well-being, of course, and your personal development into the coming future, and you vis-a-vis of when you're alone, vis-a-vis when you're with this person. And so, even with all due respect, the family were also uh, very understanding. I can say I had wonderful in-laws, and we still have relations, and that's because uh, sometimes when push comes to shove, you must call a spade a spade. It will not be the happiest of times for some people at some times, but at the end of the day, what matters is life must go on, and everybody's health of peace of mind is important, and rises above societal requirements for relationships to work or to stay on for the sake of family. That, I think, that is in the past. That used to be. But right now, and with more and more realization of the importance of women's empowerment and co-parenting, the ability for people to co-parent at a distance, and generally, even if there's no co-parenting, for various family and adapted family to be able to assist with child caring. It's not so much that a child must be brought up in the unit of family as it is called family, but if there is love and care about them, then that is enough to qualify as family. And so that's a phase of my life I don't like to discuss so much, because even now, years later, there are still bits of it that bring pain, that bring regret, and I must put always into consideration the feelings of others more than my own feelings. And because there are feelings of so many people involved, there are the children, they are adults now, yes, but there's still that emotional attachment. And then there's the family, and because this is somebody who's deceased, so yeah, all due consideration is taken, but the lessons have been learned, and I like to try as much as I can to impart from my own experiences a bit of wisdom tips on what to do in matters relationship and matters mental health when it comes to relationship matters in and forbearance when there are challenges. So, yep, baby is asleep. Like I said, I was only able to do this when they're asleep because the whole day I've been up and down with having a toddler in the house is totally fun. It's totally hard work at the same time. It's very challenging. For me, the biggest plus, apart from the fact that he's here, is that I'm able to eat regular meals. I know I was on a very strict weight loss program, but now I'm having to do such physical work all the time that I literally cannot afford to maintain the diet that I was having before. But at the same time, I cannot remember when I went for a walk, because now everywhere I go, I have to go with this little person, and I have to carry them on my back. Even if they walk, they'll walk for like 5-10 minutes at maximum, and then I have to carry them physically on my back. So all that ooh la la about having daily exercises, I was idle. I had the time. Now I don't have that time. Now I'm running 15 laps, going to put out the clothes, hang up the clothes, dash and come and wash him, go and wash the dishes, go and do the laundry, go to the shop with him and walk at a very slow pace, come back, go visit cousins, go visit friends, take a trip someplace. So it's very busy. And I think the exercise I'm doing, just running around looking after him, that's keeping me healthy enough. And I've also stopped worrying a lot about my YouTube, the growth of my YouTube channel, because I realized at one point that I'm doing everything right, and I think it's just going to take its time. It's a I actually get encouraged when people like Mr. Beast, who is the biggest YouTuber in the world, encourages people by talking about how he also went through a stint where he had little to no views, no, or subscribers. And I'm like, yeah, 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 yeah. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. In June of this year, in July, come when we're getting to July, I'll be hitting my 3-year mark in YouTube. And so I think I'm fine. I mean, it's 3 years, but I think I started having my first subscribers in like what, almost 4 months, 5 months into me starting the channel. And like I keep on saying, when I first started YouTube, I didn't know about monetization. So I was just doing it as a hobby. And since I have started the big drive to get monetized and learn about monetization, I really haven't finished a year. So I'm going to give it time. not everybody is going to have an overnight magical um, ton of events where they're going to get monetized in 2 months. And I'm making every effort there is to improve on that, to see what tips I can get, which ones I can work on, which ones might be helpful. But in the meantime, like I keep on saying, I'm just going to keep doing what I can best. I'm going to keep on producing videos. I'm going to keep on producing quality videos. I'm not going to do anything that is uh, in any way contravening the bylaws and regulations of YouTube Studio. And if I keep up at that and I keep on making my quality videos, I believe when the time comes, I'll get to my desired goal, which is to get monetized. And the goodness with monetization, as and when it comes, is that everything will now pay up. All the effort you made is going to pay up. If you are not making effort, it's going to pay that way. It's going to pay you much less because there's little effort to go back to. Because when the numbers finally do show up, when the viewers finally do recognize your channel and do start coming in, they need content to watch, and they need backdated content, they need current content, they need upcoming content. And if when they look back at backdated content, there's hardly anything, or there's very poor quality, they'll watch less of that. And so, it all adds up because there's viewing hours, there's content that you're producing. And in every aspect where you do anything less, then it's just going to work out worse for you. So, for me, I'd rather just keep on doing quality production, and quality production, and consistency, consistency, consistency in as much as is possible. This week, we had a family gathering. It was so nice to meet family. So nice. I become like a little baby when I'm around family. I mean, it's having a safe space. I don't know whether I know, because I've met a lot of people who don't even have family to celebrate occasions with, who can go for years without having a Christmas celebration together with family. I know how privileged I am. There are people who've known nothing but loving family all their lives, and they've never met people who don't have loving families, so they don't understand. But me, I'm so thankful, and I come from a big family. But I can tell you that it's something you cannot explain. When you're among people who, there's trust and there's favor and there's blessing and there's prayers for goodness to happen over your life and the next person's life. And it's not to say we don't disagree, or there are no um, brushing of shoulders once in a while. That happens. But how beautiful, how nice is it to have family and to have wonderful family around you? On the local scene, for the people whom I follow, I'd like to congratulate Chacha Tales. Chacha Tales is a channel. He's one of the young people in Nyabohanse Village, which I normally um, talk a lot in my vlogs, and who are such an inspiration for me. And this young person, what he has done, among many other things he's also started a small community hub for YouTubers, and I was very impressed with that. We've seen the work; it's been quite a work. He started small, and now he finally finished it. He's gotten sponsors to help him refurbish and revamp the utility. And he had an opening this weekend, and that's when we had our family affair. So I was only able to watch the videos yesterday and then today. And congratulations, Chacha, that was very well. That you executed that very well. I'm not going to talk today about the leading YouTubers in the village, because the family, because the stuff that's going on with them is just shaming. And so I'm just going to skip that. I don't want to spoil any bit of this video. At the same time, I'm very happy to see that There's not so much of what has been happening in the entertainment industry previously, when there's been a lot of wars between musicians or between performing artists. Right now, the stage is a bit calm. I think because we are veering also so much towards a time of political upheaval when elections are coming up. And I just pray for the country, of course, and especially for our youth, that more people are going to stay safe, that we are not going to have, although we do still have, that it's not going to be on a big scale. Again, disappearances and unaliving of persons, especially youth. That's the biggest concern, of course. Uh, our future rests so much on the shoulders of youth. And right now, what mistakes we do is going to befall on the young people, and they're the ones we are looking forward to them getting to the next level where they can lead us and guide us and maybe change this country from the the bad places it is at, as is the same with a lot of African nations where leadership has not gone so well, where leadership is the main cause of the backwardness of the country. And we are hoping to see a paradigm shift with the youth leading us, that their open mindedness and their thinking out of the box may be what we require and what is going to change and change for the better the country. And I like the fact that the thinking of the youth is so intertwined with what's happening internationally, that they uphold the same virtues that are wished upon for every other person who's looking to have leadership that has integrity in other parts of the world. And so I'm really praying right now for the young men and women who are standing in front lines, in marches, in protests, in other activities that are going on, in meetings, that they remain safe and they keep on pushing for what the majority of the country, not just youth, is praying for: a change in leadership, an almost total change in leadership of the nation. The rains have come, and I haven't made any cultivation. This week I had a very unfortunate incident. I haven't even Oh yeah, I've gone to check. I was told while we were at the family gathering, some herders came in with their cattle and cut through the fence and had their cattle feed on in the compound. And actually the person who told us, because when we arrived in the evening, my daughter told me that somebody came and told her while we were getting in with the baby and all, told her that that had happened, and the cattle had got in and eaten the trees, and also the crop of maize that was, well, it was withered maize really, because there wasn't really a harvest. And if there was, happy cows, they ate. And so one thing that is so good about when you have a positive mindset is that if this was a year ago, I'd have probably blown the roof, and it would have cost me immense anger and pain for days. But when I heard about it, I was like, oh shit, okay, that happened, let it be. And yeah, the kids were so distressed. No, we need to beef up the fencing, mom, this is so unfortunate, your maize, what, the cassava. But I went and checked in the morning because I wasn't flustered at all. But I went and looked around in the morning. Yeah, the cassava leaves were chewed off. I wasn't eating the cassava leaves. They're going to regrow. It's rainy season. The maize, the stalks needed to go off. Definitely. I just hadn't gotten around to telling somebody go cut off those stalks. Um, the fruit trees were not damaged. A few leaves here and there, but I think on the whole, the herders who came in with the cattle checked to see that the trees were not being harmed, because all my trees are still upstanding. and there's no tree that is, I can say, that has been damaged as such. I haven't even seen the parts in the fence where they bypassed. If they did, it's just existing gaps, and this is a live fence that's not well grown. So I sat down and I thought to myself, I've grown. I've grown for the positive and for the better. If this is me not angry about that. But yeah, I guess this is just it's bad manners, of course, plain bad manners. And I mean, bypassing uh, the fence, trespassing, bringing in the cattle. For me, what I think about is the other danger that it could have posed. They could have harmed my dog, because it's just very lucky that I had chained him up that day. If he was loose and I no skip, he'd have been out there among those cattle. And maybe he might have been injured either by the Maasai herder who was with the cattle, or by one of the cows kicking him, or whatever, because he gets so agitated. And I can imagine the discomfort he must have had, because he could hear them and he was barking throughout and he couldn't get out. But again, some things, you thank God and you say it was a blessing in disguise. It was, because it was. Of course, I don't have the finances to put a chain link, or to put a what, or wire mesh in the fence. It's that's what, 100, 200. It's about 300 feet. I can't afford it. So it's a battle that's going to go on, and now there's nothing for them until the next season. And I don't think I'm going to do any planting this season. But my cassava is still there. I'm still going to harvest it when the dry season comes. The leaves are going to grow back. The trees are growing. I'm grateful for that, to them for that. But I don't have the time to stress about that. And I can only give it, I can only say that it's by God's grace that I'm so much at peace with that. Because people have problems, and I can assure you that these herders are having problems. We've had a dry spell. Probably, I mean, it's quite a walk for them. That doesn't give them any excuse to trespass into people's gardens and destroy property. But I pity them. I mean, I know they don't like having to do that, but they did it. So I'm happy that I'm not them, to be in that position, because I know there are some people taking very stern action against them. But for me, full on you, because it didn't affect me much, and you know very well, if I was here, I'd have probably taken some action, taken photographs, followed it up, made life uncomfortable for you. But I'm glad even that I didn't, and instead I had a wonderful time with family. We enjoyed and everything. So I've just been rambling on, but yeah, that's my life. That's really part of my life. I want to be in touch with you as my viewers. I want to be in touch with you as my subscribers. I want you to get to know me better. I want you to try and wonder sometimes, maybe if you look at one of the playlists on my opinions and you're wondering, why is she so harsh about this? It's because this is the real me. These are the things that have shaped who I am. If you look at my differing view on stuff and you're like, why in heaven's name would Josephine have this opinion about this? Yeah, it's just because that's how I think. That's how I am. I'm not always correct, but I'm different. It's my different kind of ordinary. And I appreciate yours as much as I wish you to appreciate mine. My differentness, which is my uniqueness, and my niceness to some people, my badness to some people. You take it as you view it. So I'm very glad I did this. And this again is in the line of doing things that I set out to do. If I put it down that this is something that I have to follow up with, I want to be able to sit back and say, I'm glad I did not procrastinate. Because procrastination is one of the leading enhancers of poverty. Just saying, I'll think about it, I'm going to do it, I'll plan to do it next time. Let me just postpone it for a short while. Tomorrow never waits. Time never waits for anybody. So if you need to have it done, just have it done. I thought I was going to do this live streaming earlier. But what happened was that I had a video I had been editing, and my phone got spoilt during and after the function. I guess I was so busy with I was so busy with the baby and the toddler that I am with, plus my grandson. And in between that, I think I might have failed to take care of it a lot. And so the screen got spoiled, and I had to get somebody had to give me their phone to use for the time being. And so I haven't quite mastered how to use it. And then secondly, I had to re-download all the apps that I require, and I'm horrible, horrible, horrible with passwords. So it took me the entire day to get my Gmail app, and then to get my CapCut app. And oh goodness, I wish instead of passwords, I wish you could just put thumbprints or voice or something. Because am I the only one who has a problem remembering passwords? Please tell me. If you're above 50, do you have problems like me? Even if I say I'll write it down, I'll lose the paper. Even if I say I'll take a screenshot, actually, I even thought I had taken screenshots. Then I went looking in my photos. Then I remember I had deleted the screenshot for security. I was like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I don't know what I'm going to do about passwords. And you're required to have a strong password with upper and lowercase characters and what and what and what. You're making life difficult. Password should become face recognition or thumbprint to make it easier for people like me, because it's so much of a headache. But I'm glad I finally succeeded. And then I had to upload the video that I had done between. Oh, I'm just remembering, in fact, that I didn't put one of the clips, but that's in the old phone that is spoiled. But yeah, because I remembered there's a clip I had done on the day we were going for the function, and I didn't put that in. But because that phone is spoiled, and so until I get money, I'll just be working with what I can. As always, I'll work with what I can. I'll be grateful, and it's going to have to sustain me. Yeah, that's a warning that I've spoken a lot. I'm tired. Today I was looking at the video I did, and I was like, what? I have bags under my eyes. I've been straining. I've been so tired. When you hear me saying I'm tired, take it from me that I am tired. I'm working physically, and I'm also putting in so many hours and it has to be nighttime only to do my vlogging, my editing, and so, and then in the daytime also, I can't really fully sleep when the baby is out, because I'd be shocked. No, that boy is so fast. Children are like that, of course. Toddlers are like that. They're not called the terrible twos for nothing. So I have to like sleep with one eye open, and only doze when they've also gone to sleep for the afternoon nap. And today he didn't have an afternoon nap. So I'm very glad that I got this opportunity. I'm very glad for anybody who bypassed to view. I appreciate it very much. I'd like to urge you to please subscribe and stay on the channel. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Leave a comment. Even if not now, later on, anytime that you're watching the video, please leave a comment and like it. And if you're one of the people who are viewing and you're also a YouTuber like me, you've not yet hit your 1,000 subscribers mark and 4,000 hours of viewership, I urge you to stay on, to keep on doing what you do best, and I wish you all the luck. And for those of you who are waking up or who are still having their day, I wish you a good day and a good morning. And for the rest of you who like me are supposed to be in bed, it's 1:23 a.m. here, or have gone to bed, I wish you a very good night. And so, for all of you who've been here and who are going to be watching this later on, may God guide you and bless you and protect you. Thank you very much for staying on the channel. And so, from Sleepy Ruai in Nairobi of magical Kenya, I say bye bye and thank you very much.